Hi everyone, and welcome to the Startup Center. Last week we conducted a workshop where we went over how to create an augmented reality poster. And while going through this workshop, we faced a couple issues. So today I wanted to go over the common issues you may face while following the workshop. We're going to go ahead and get started with creating a new project. In this project, I mentioned it before in the workshop, but we want it to be this specific version, so version 2019.3. This is because this is the version that is most compatible with the recent Vuforia engine. And the Vuforia engine is the platform that we're going to use to be able to create these augmented reality experiences. And we're going to go ahead and label this something that helps us identify what this project is. So I'm going to put AR poster troubleshoot. And I just have it in the directory that I have all my Unity projects, which is in my documents under the folder Unity projects. This is going to take a bit to load, but what we're mainly doing here is just going through the steps and processes that you would be going through if you're creating the AR poster that we went over last workshop, and seeing what errors we encounter as we're going through these processes and what we can do to fix them. So the blank Unity project loaded, and we have the Unity interface. The first thing we want to do is delete what's in the scene. Since we are developing a project in augmented reality, we want to use the augmented reality camera and augmented reality assets. So we want to get the augmented reality camera, and to do so we need to make sure that the Vuforia engine is installed. So we want to go to File, Build Settings, Player Settings. And what I like to do is I like to develop an Android. This was also mentioned in the workshop that if you do not have a Mac, you cannot develop an iOS app. So for me to be able to test it and work with it, I just prefer Android since I do not have a Mac. We're going to scroll down to XR settings and click this box, and it will go ahead and install the Vuforia engine. Okay, now that it's installed, we want to make sure that we transfer the current platform we're working with to Android, since this is the platform that I chose to work with. So we just want to make sure that this choice is reflected here, and we're going to go ahead and switch platforms. This is also going to take a bit to compile the scripts. Okay, now that we're done here, we are going to close these build settings. And we're going to add an AR camera. So there's two different ways you can do this. You can right click on the hierarchy and go to Vuforia engine and add the AR camera here. We could also go to game object. There's going to be another Vuforia engine here, and you can go to AR camera. And this is going to add an AR camera to your scene. The second thing we did in the tutorial is add an image, the image that we want to project the 3D model to. So we're going to go to Vuforia engine again, click on image, and this is going to import all the assets and the default images that Vuforia needs to run. So we're going to import these. So now that that's finished loading, we want to import 3D objects to our project. To do this, we're going to go ahead and open the asset store and download some assets from there. You can do this by going to Window and clicking Asset Store. I'm going to wait for that to load. So this is the Asset Store. I've expanded the window a bit for better clarity. You can expand it more if you need to. And I'm already logged in. So I already have the assets saved to my account. I'm going to go to my profile and go to my assets. And here we're going to go to Vuforia Core Samples. and this is what we want to download. It should be free. We want to import it to the project, and it's going to take a bit to do so. And it's going to prompt you to install an upgrade. You're going to want to do that just to make sure you have the most recent versions of everything. And you want to import all of this. Can you import the whole package? So now that we have all the assets installed, we can go to our project and look for the models that we want to use. First, I want to close the Assets Store tab. There's no need to leave it open, so you just right-click the tab and close it. And then in the project, we want to go to our sample resources. You can click on the drop-down button, and we want to go to Augmentation Assets is already selected. We can click on Models. And we're going to go to Scene Assets. And under Scene Assets, we should find the Model Targets folder. And we can click on Models. And here we have two options. We have a lander and a rover. So we want to zoom into our image. You can do this by using the up-down buttons after clicking on the scene. Or you can pinch zoom to zoom in and zoom out. So here we have a default image loaded. Sometimes there won't be a default image, sometimes you have to add an image. And this is also reviewed in the workshop. So I'm going to choose this lander. I can either click and drag to the scene, or I can click and drag as a child of the image target. And we have this lander here. And after adding the lander, you can see it's very small, and we can fix the size using this scale tool. You can make it bigger in all 3 dimensions. If you want to make it bigger all together, you click this box in the middle and just go upwards. And I'm going to go back to this moving tool and kind of center it there. And if you look down here, there are a couple errors that are not going to let us run. And usually these errors are generated through some sort of version mismatch. So when we downloaded the assets from the asset store, maybe the asset version wasn't up to date to the versions that we have now. So we're going to go to the Vuforia website, and we want to add the most updated version of Vuforia just to make sure that everything's compatible. You're going to want to make an account. I already have an account. The account is completely free. And we are going to download this, and if you click on it, it should automatically apply to your project. So a lot of weird errors happen if the versions aren't compatible. So you just make sure that you have the most updated version of everything. And that should solve a lot of issues if you come across with something you're not sure how to solve. But you're just going to make sure this is imported. Okay, so we've imported the latest Vuforia. And as you can see, the errors didn't go away. So an issue with that could be that the changes were not applied. So if we go to the actual Unity window and check what version is currently installed, that might give us an insight whether everything was updated properly or not. To do this, we can go to the Vuforia AR camera and open the Vuforia configuration settings, and that should tell us what the version is that is currently installed. We also notice here that it says the version is 8.5.9 and didn't upload to the newest versions. We can go ahead and click this and make sure that it is in fact uploaded to the newest version. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add or update. Add the newest version. Although we did this step before, it, I guess, didn't take an effect, so there's nothing wrong with doing this step again. Okay, so I logged in, and we're gonna agree to this, and we want this to open. We're gonna allow. Okay, perfect. Okay, and this change hasn't visibly taken effect, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and closing the project and then restarting and see if the change does apply. Okay, so in opening the project, I was prompted to accept this screen, so we're gonna click yes, update, and it's gonna reopen with the updated version of Euphoria. Okay, so now that we've opened the project, you can see that the console does not have any more errors. We're gonna double check to make sure that it's the right version of Euphoria. So again, going on the AR camera, opening the engine configuration, and the version is 9.0. So at this point, there should be no issues. You should be able to run this game. So to summarize this troubleshooting video, a lot of the issues that are common when building this AR poster are just issues with the version. So make sure that you have the most updated version of Euphoria, and make sure the version for Unity is 2019.3.0A7. These are versions that are known to be able to work together and run together. And other issues you might encounter are just not having the license key. Issues on the console, and you're able to click play and test out the AR poster, but you're not able to actually see anything on the camera, or there's issues when actually testing it out. One of the key things that you can do is try to add in license. I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you guys, just in case you guys do encounter an issue similar to this. So we're going to go to AR camera, look at the inspector, scroll all the way down and open Euphoria engine configuration. So in this, we're going to add a license. The license can be can come from your account. So to find the licenses, you can go to develop, and I need to log in to manage my licenses, so I'm going to go ahead and do so. So again, I'm going to go to develop. What you can do is you can make your own license. So you can get a development key, and you can just add license name. I'm going to put AR poster. And this will create your own license. So I'm going to click on this. This will automatically copy the license to your keyboard or your clipboard. You can copy and paste. This is how you add a license. So if you're facing any other issues on runtime, then go ahead and try this out and see if it works for you. Other than that, if you have these steps completed, then your AR poster should work exactly like it's supposed to. And we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click play. It's also just to double check that everything does work and run how it's supposed to. I have the AR poster loaded on my phone, and I have my brightness at a halfway point. The brightness is important since you want the camera to clearly view your image. And you can find this image just on Google search, Euphoria default posters, astronaut, and it should be able to pop up. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and show the poster to the camera. Make sure it's centered, there's no glare. Sometimes you have to move it around a bit, just shift the brightness. And there you go. So I hope you guys were able to solve any issues that you had while trying to follow this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for coming, and stay tuned to our future workshops.